In this podcast episode, the host interviews James Cosmo, a Scottish actor known for his roles in Game of Thrones and Braveheart. Cosmo discusses his experience working on various films and TV shows, including Braveheart, Highlander, Game of Thrones, and Sons of Anarchy. He mentions that he has a new whiskey out in partnership with an Andale distillery in the Borders. He explains that he wanted to have a whiskey to give as a gift to people after working on films or TV shows, and he worked with the distillery to create his own brand. The conversation then shifts to Cosmo's background and how he got into acting. He was born in Dumbarton and grew up in Clydebank, Scotland. His father was a water bailiff and later became an actor. Cosmo moved to London when he was 8 years old, as his father had a part in a play there. He talks about the journey to London, which involved his mother buying a gypsy wagon and a horse to travel with. Cosmo discusses his early acting experiences, including his first part in an episode of Dr. Finlay's Casebook. He mentioned that he always had a belief in himself and never considered giving up, despite the rejection and challenges that come with being an actor. He talks about his first big breakthrough in the film Battle of Britain, where he played a flying officer. The conversation then focuses on Cosmo's role in Braveheart. He discusses how he got the part and the experience of working with Mel Gibson, who directed and starred in the film. Cosmo mentions that Gibson wanted him to play the role of Campbell, the father of William Wallace. He talks about the powerful and emotional scenes in the film, including the freedom speech. Cosmo also discusses the makeup and horse riding in Braveheart. He mentions that the makeup process was done by a talented makeup artist, and he had to learn to ride horses for the film. He shares his love for horses and how he enjoyed working with them on set. The conversation touches on other topics, such as Cosmo's belief in individual freedom and the impact of Braveheart worldwide. He mentions that the film resonated with people because it portrayed the fight for freedom, which is a universal theme. Cosmo also talks about his admiration for other actors and the importance of professionalism in the industry. Cosmo continues by recounting his experience attending the premiere of Braveheart in Scotland. He describes the excitement and emotion of the event, with notable figures from Scotland in attendance. He recalls how everyone in the audience, including sports stars and politicians, was moved to tears by the film. Cosmo also mentions the after-party at Stirling Castle, which was themed around medieval times and featured various entertainment acts. The conversation then shifts to a memorable incident that occurred after the premiere. Cosmo and his wife were driving back to Glasgow Airport when they received a call asking if they could transport a human heart for a transplant from Glasgow to London. They agreed, and the journey became a race against time as they were escorted by police motorcycles and an ambulance. Cosmo reflects on the significance of being able to help save someone's life in that moment. The discussion moves on to Cosmo's role in Game of Thrones. He expresses his initial uncertainty about the show's potential success, given its complex storyline and British accents. However, he acknowledges that the series became a massive hit and credits the dedication of the show's creators and the faithfulness to the source material for its success. Cosmo also praises the performances of his fellow actors, including Peter Dinklage and Kit Harington. Cosmo then talks about his experience working on other films, such as Troy and Narnia. He notes that while these films were big blockbusters, he also enjoys working on smaller, low-budget projects with young filmmakers. He appreciates the enthusiasm and passion they bring to their work and finds it inspiring as an actor. The conversation touches on the challenges of bringing emotion to the camera. Cosmo believes that a willingness to open one's heart and soul to the character is essential for a good performance. He emphasizes the importance of being fully present and vulnerable in portraying a character's emotions. Cosmo also discusses the role of nerves in acting. He believes that nerves are necessary for a good performance and that the adrenaline they produce can enhance one's acting. He shares an anecdote from his early days on the set of Troy, where he was surprised to learn that even experienced actors like Peter O'Toole could feel nervous before a scene. The podcast continues with Cosmo reflecting on the impact of his roles and the joy he finds in his work. He expresses gratitude for the opportunities he has had and the privilege of playing characters that resonate with audiences, particularly children. He shares a heartwarming story of a young girl who mistook him for Father Christmas and how that experience touched him. Cosmo continues by discussing his experience working with his father in the film industry. He admits that they did not get along well and that he was not proud of his behavior during that time. He attributes their strained relationship to his own immaturity and acknowledges that his father was a tough and fighting man. Despite their differences, Cosmo believes that if his father were looking down on him now, he would say that he did okay. The conversation then shifts to the topic of parenting and Cosmo's relationship with his own children. He admits that he tries his best to be a good father but often fails. He believes that it is important to strike a balance between being a parent and a friend to his children. He emphasizes the need to instill discipline and self-discipline in them, as well as to raise them to be strong individuals. Cosmo also discusses his views on childbirth and the importance of skin-to-skin contact between parents and newborns. He believes that it is natural for a child to cry and that they should be comforted and loved. He criticizes the idea of letting babies cry it out and argues that giving children love and comfort from an early age will help them thrive in life. The conversation then turns to Cosmo's career in the film industry. He reflects on the difference between the best roles he has played and the ones he has enjoyed the most. He mentions his role in the film, The Pyramid Texts, as one of his best efforts as an actor, despite it not being a particularly pleasant experience. On the other hand, he mentions his role in the TV series, Jack Ryan, as one that he thoroughly enjoyed. Cosmo shares an anecdote about his experience working on Jack Ryan and how he was chosen for the role. He reveals that John Krasinski, the star of the show, and his wife Emily Blunt, suggested him for the part. He expresses his gratitude for their support and praises their talent as actors. The conversation then delves into Cosmo's willingness to try different things in his career. He mentions his experience working on a Bollywood movie and how it was a mad and interesting experience for him. He believes in being open to new opportunities and maintaining enthusiasm for the industry and life in general. Cosmo reflects on his proudest moments in life and mentions his children as the greatest joy in his life. He admits that he finds it hard to think of specific moments but takes pride in the fact that ordinary working people can relate to him and his work. He sees himself as one of them and is proud to be seen as such. The podcast concludes with Cosmo discussing his future plans. He mentions that he will be playing a role in a King Arthur film and is looking forward to the experience. He also acknowledges the struggles that actors face and offers advice to those who may be going through similar challenges. He encourages them to believe in something greater than themselves and to display kindness, love, and strength in the world. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe.